Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Zhang. We have some top news for you today. A school board in Southern California fired its superintendent over a curriculum controversy. This comes after the board voted earlier this month to ban a textbook that mentions former gay activist Harvey Milk. The 10th largest city in the U.S., San Jose, just released its $5 billion budget. NTD interviewed the mayor to learn about the city's priorities. And California's drought-plagued Lake Oroville is now 100% full after a series of powerful winter storms and melting of historically deep ice pack. The lake supplies water for more than half of the state residents. First up, California voters revealed their thoughts about the state in a new poll. It asked the registered voters questions on a number of topics, including presidential candidates and state issues. The survey was done by Emerson College Polling and Inside California Politics. It showed that 25% of voters find the economy to be the top issue. 17% ranked homelessness highest, and 16% were most concerned about affordable housing. A lower number said crime, climate change, and threats to democracy were important. The voters' concerns contrasted with Governor Newsom's description of the state's economy in his Fox News interview. The poll also revealed only about 50% of the respondents agree with the recommendation to pay each of the state's black residents $1.2 million. As for the presidential candidates, 53% would choose to re-elect President Biden and 32% would choose former President Trump. When it comes to school education, California could be a state of two tales. While big city school districts push on progressive policies on transgenderism and child sex education, some elected school board members in conservative areas stood their ground on similar issues. Last night, a school district in Southern California voted to fire its superintendent over a curriculum that mentioned gay rights leader Harvey Milk. In a major shakeup, the Temecula Valley School Board voted to fire the district's superintendent, Jody McClay, amid controversy over the district's decision to block a curriculum that mentions gay rights leader Harvey Milk. McClay's dismissal comes after the board voted earlier this month to ban a textbook that mentions milk from the kindergarten through fifth grade social studies curriculum. Milk was the first openly gay politician to be elected to office in California. Just last week, local school board president Joseph Komrosky called the former San Francisco supervisor and assassinated activist a pedophile. Some attendees erupted in protest at the decision of the firing and forced the meeting into recess. A teacher complained that district teachers received a voicemail from the school board officials that sounded intimidating.
You're disgusting. Who are you to teach kids anything related to anything that has to do with a sexual, anything with gayness or anything like that? That's not your right. You didn't have those kids. You're just a teacher, and you teach what the state tells you to. That doesn't mean that you're right, and not all.
An explanation for McClay's termination was not provided. The board elected Assistant Superintendent Kimberly Velez as interim superintendent. Switching gears to the oil industry, Chevron has been hit with a multi-million-dollar verdict after the jury found the oil company covered up a toxic chemical pit. The man who bought the land it was on now has cancer.
A California jury has returned a $63 million verdict against Chevron after finding the oil giant covered up a toxic chemical pit. A man bought the land to build a house, but he was later diagnosed with a blood cancer. In 1974, Chevron's subsidiary Union Oil Company of California had operated a sump pit for oil and gas production, a process that left the carcinogenic chemical benzene on the property. According to court documents, Kevin Wright unknowingly built his home directly over the chemical pit near Santa Barbara in 1985. Now he has multiple myeloma, a cancer that attacks plasma cells in the blood and can be caused by benzene exposure. The jurors in Santa Barbara on Wednesday returned the $63 million verdict. Wright's attorney said the case is a blatant example of environmental pollution and corporate malfeasance. Chevron said Union Oil Company would appeal the judgment. In a statement on Thursday, Chevron said, "We strongly disagree with the jury's decisions to award compensatory and punitive damages." Wright's attorney said his cancer is in remission, but he regularly undergoes chemotherapy treatments to hold the illness at bay.
Silicon Valley flourishes with many tech companies and businesses, but cities like San Jose are dealing with homelessness. As a response, San Jose passed a new budget intended on improving the city. NTD's David Lamb reports.
On Tuesday, the council voted 10-1 to approve Mayor Matt Mahan's $5.2 billion budget for the next fiscal year, which he said was focused on what the community wants.
I'm calling it the Back to Basics budget with a focus on homelessness, public safety, and cleaning up the city, which are the big three items that I heard about across the city during the mayor's race over and over again from people of all ages, all backgrounds, small business owners, and residents alike.
San Jose is heading into next year with a $35 million surplus. Although Mahan wanted more focus on immediate short-term units, the council settled for spending $93 million on affordable housing. Mahan says the trade-off is between short-term modular units that are cost-effective versus long-term apartment buildings.
We have a deficit of tens of thousands of affordable housing units, and it's going to take us decades, unfortunately, to build up toward where we need to be. And in the meantime, I don't think anyone should be left to live and die in a tent encampment in our city. So we're trying to find that balance and make as much progress on both fronts as we can while putting a little more emphasis on the incredible human suffering we see on our streets today.
The city announced recently that overall homelessness decreased by 4.7% since 2022. San Jose is the largest city in the Bay Area with nearly 1 million residents. By comparison, San Francisco, which deals with open drug use and encampments, has a smaller population than San Jose, but with a proposed budget of $14.6 billion, almost 3 times as that of San Jose. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
California's lakes are getting replenished. The second largest reservoir, Oroville, is at 100% capacity, or 127% of the historical average.
Lake Oroville is at full capacity thanks to the amount of rainfall this year. According to the California Department of Water Resources, when it's at 100%, it's possible there will be waves that would splash over to the emergency spillway on windy days. Therefore, the department releases water using the main spillway at Oroville Dam. This would make storage space for melted snow. Water is released about 8,000 cubic feet per second to the Feather River. 4,000 of it flows through the city of Oroville. Another 4,000 goes to a river outlet about 5 miles downstream from Oroville. In February 2017, heavy rainfall damaged Oroville Dam's main and emergency spillways. The eroded concrete prompted over 180,000 people living downstream along the Feather River to evacuate. The repairs were completed in November 2018. Currently, the state's largest reservoir, Shasta, is 97% full. Trinity Lake is the lowest, at 57% capacity. Oroville delivers water to 27 million Californians. Authorities will continue to monitor lake levels and adjust releases for water storage in the future.
We'll take a short break now, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. San Francisco's Millennium Tower, one of the glitziest residential buildings in the city, is now tilting more than 2 feet west. It continues to lean despite recent efforts to set it straight. A recent study shows that California is ranked the lowest in the nation on literacy rate. However, the state scored at the top of the list for most fun for entertainment and recreation. And for $40,000 a month, you can rent Disney's former residence in LA. We'll show you what you get for the money. Those stories and more coming up on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, David Zhang. Here's some tilting news. Now known as the Leaning Tower of San Francisco, the Millennium Tower continues to live up to its name. A report found that it's continuing to lean.
Despite efforts to fix the leaning Millennium Tower on San Francisco's Mission Street, the high-rise condominium continues to tilt. NBC reported that rooftop-based monitoring data shows the tower leaning half an inch more to the west than before, even after being supported on the north side. The digging done to fix the foundation of the building is worsening the slant. In total, the building is leaning about 29 inches. The Millennium Tower is the tallest residential building and the sixth tallest overall in San Francisco. In May 2016, residents were informed the main tower was both sinking and tilting, resulting in several lawsuits concerning repair costs and whether the tilt had been withheld from buyers. In an email statement to NTD, a spokesperson for the Millennium Tower said the construction project, known as Perimeter Pile Upgrade, would install 18 concrete piles to anchor the building to the bedrock. The upgrade will relieve stress on soils that have compressed beneath the building, which caused its unanticipated movement. We anticipate the building will experience significant recovery of the tilting that has occurred with the final load transfer in the Perimeter Pile Upgrade, which is underway this month. According to Zillow, each condominium can range from $600,000 to $2 million.
Different polls show that California has the lowest illiteracy rate in the nation, yet it's the most fun. Let's see how they're broken down and rated.
According to World Population Review, California is ranked the lowest in terms of literacy rate. 76.9% of adults can read and write. The state and its Department of Education have been blamed for the failing literacy rate. They have also been sued for extended remote learning instead of going back to school where students could receive quality education.
Other than our public schools are drastically underfunded, teachers are not paid well enough to get really top-notch teachers. And with the economy in California, it literally takes two parents working full-time jobs to be able to make ends meet, let alone to try and get ahead here. And it really sacrifices the family structure on getting kids to get to school and get that education and become literate.
The thing is, attention span of the people is decreasing. I think that's why. We are not, and if you're reading a book, you need at least like 4-5 hours. It's boring. But we have to work with the kids, like him, to involve them in literacy and discover new things.
After California is New York, with 77.9% who are literate, followed by Florida, New Jersey, and Georgia. New Hampshire is ranked the highest in the nation for literacy, followed by Minnesota, North Dakota, Vermont, and South Dakota. But on the other hand, California is also ranked the most fun state in the U.S.
I think being the funnest state has a lot to do with the access to the beaches, to the mountains, to every kind of activity you could ever imagine. We have movies, we have pro sports teams, we have every kind of entertainment you can imagine.
The people prefer go get drunk, go get dance, go to the beach, than read a book. And the books has to be a bit more accurate, more affordable for the kids, for us even.
According to Wallet Hub, a personal finance website, the Golden State is ranked number 1 for entertainment and recreation and number 4 for nightlife. Nevada is reversed at 4 for entertainment and recreation and number 1 for nightlife. Some of the reasons are because California has the most restaurants and movie theaters per capita. Others include number of attractions, ideal weather, beach quality, and music festivals.
Major movie studios, streaming services, and production companies are facing the threat of another strike this month. As the Writers' Union strike enters its 6th week, Hollywood actors have promised to walk out if negotiations fall through.
The Screenwriters Guild, American Foundation of Television and Radio Artists, representing many Hollywood actors, have authorized a strike if negotiations with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, or MTPT, fall through by the end of the month. The Actors Guild represents over 160 screenwriters, broadcast journalists, dancers, DJs, news writers, recording artists, program hosts, stunt performers, and other media professionals. And according to the Screenwriters Guild, nearly 98% of the actors voted in favor of the strike over wages, working conditions, residuals, and the use of artificial intelligence. On June 6, the Screenwriters Guild president and chief negotiator wrote to union members, quote, "The stakes have never been higher. We need to ensure a future where members can make a living as a performer and are protected from the misuse of evolving technologies." The MTPT told the Epoch Times, quote, "We are approaching these negotiations with a goal of achieving a new agreement that is beneficial to Screen Actors Guild members and the industry overall." Both sides began meeting on June 7th and have agreed to not comment to media outlets during negotiations.
Another Hollywood actor has left the Golden State. The state's problem seems so overwhelming that even Superman decided to call it quits.
Superman actor Dean Cain is the latest celebrity to leave California. In an interview with Fox News, he criticized the Golden State's policies.
The fiscal policies, the soft on crime policies, the homelessness policies.
The actor has moved to Las Vegas for about 2 weeks now and said his son is 10 times happier. TMZ reported that Cain sold his Malibu home for $6.25 million, $1 million below the asking price. He listed it in March and sold it in May. Cain joins actor Mark Wahlberg, who also moved to Las Vegas in October 2022. Actor Scott Baio also left California for Florida in May. Cain believes the movie industry may follow them.
For those curious to know what kind of home Disney's creator lived in, you're in luck. His Los Angeles Artist in the Bold is available for rent and sure to inspire one's creative side.
Walt Disney's former home in Los Angeles is up for rent for $40,000 a month. According to real estate company Redfin, Disney got the land and built the storybook home for his wife and 2 daughters. The 4-bed, 3.5-bath home spans about 6,400 square feet with enough parking for 10. The fairy tale home has a tower-like rotunda entryway covered in vines, original leaded windows, and a cobblestone motor court. It consists of a 2-story living room with vaulted wood-beamed ceilings, wood-paneled walls, and brick fireplace. There's an elegant dining room with French doors. The kitchen consists of a center island, stainless appliances, marbled counters, custom cabinets, a walk-in pantry, and stained glass windows. The view overlooks the backyard in downtown LA. On the other side of the home is a theater where Disney watched his productions. Upstairs is a primary suite with ample closets and a bathroom with dual vanities. There's also 2 guest bedrooms and a sunlit family room. Outside, it features landscape walkways, lush grass lawn, and a pool. The home was last sold in August 2011 for $3.7 million.
Now let's check in with NTD's Carlos Reyes for our sports roundup.
Thanks, Bill. This is your California Sports Roundup, and I'm Carlos Reyes. Pinch hitter Carlos Perez broke a tie with an RBI groundout in the 8th inning, and the Oakland Athletics beat the Tampa Bay Rays 2-1 on Tuesday night in front of a spirited crowd at the Coliseum. The A's drew a season-high attendance of nearly 28,000 as Oakland fans held a reverse boycott to protest the team's planned move to Las Vegas. It was a playoff-like atmosphere for the A's season-high 7th straight victory, with the crowd repeatedly chanting, "Sell the team," and "Stay in Oakland." Fans also shouted their anger at team owner John Fisher throughout the night, and some threw cups and bottles onto the field after the game ended. Many arrived hours before first pitch to tailgate in the parking lot, with the first 7,000 receiving fan-funded Sell shirts made by local company Oaklandish. Ramon Laureano singled to open the 8th against Colin Poche, advanced on a sacrifice bunt, then stole third and scored when pinch hitter Carlos Perez's grounder bounced off the glove of third baseman Isaac Paredes. Hogan Harris replaced opener Shintaro Fujinami after the latter's scoreless first inning and allowed just 4 hits in 7 innings, striking out 2 without walking a batter. Michael Conforto went 4 for 6 with 3 RBIs as visiting San Francisco defeated St. Louis, but lost third baseman J.D. Davis and left fielder Mitch Haniger to injuries in the process. Mike Yastrzemski hit a 2-run homer and Patrick Bailey added a solo homer for the Giants, who won for the 6th time in 8 games. Giants starter Alex Cobb allowed 2 runs on 5 hits and 2 walks in 4 innings. Keaton Winn earned a 4-inning save in his major league debut. Meanwhile, Jack Flaherty allowed 6 runs on 10 hits and 3 walks with 3 strikeouts in 4 innings for the Cardinals, who lost for the 11th time in 14 games. Your San Francisco Giants 11, Cardinals 3. The Denver Nuggets beat the Miami Heat 94-89 on Monday to bring a first NBA title to Mile High City, with Serbian big man Nikola Jokic scoring 28 points and being named the most valuable player of the finals. With a raucous capacity crowd packed into Ball Arena ready to celebrate, the Nuggets ended a 47-year championship wait by taking the best-of-7 series 4-1. Once again, the Nuggets were led by Jokic, who hit for a double-double of 28 points and 16 rebounds to cap a dominating postseason performance. On the other side of the ball, Jimmy Butler led Miami with 21 points. The 8th-seeded Heat had defied the odds throughout the postseason, taking out big names like the Milwaukee Bucks, New York Knicks, and Boston Celtics, but the challenge facing them on Monday was a near impossible one. It was all hands on deck for the Heat with guard Tyler Hero, who had been out of action for nearly 2 months with a broken right hand, made available for the game, but never got on the floor. Miami started off smartly, jumping ahead 5-0 before the Nuggets shifted into gear and went on a 12-0 run, whipping the home crowd into a frenzy. In the second quarter, turnovers and poor shooting continued to plague the Nuggets as they went on a woeful 1-15 from beyond the arc, while the resilient Heat held steady in the Ball Arena pressure cooker, taking a 51-44 advantage into the break. The Nuggets came out with urgency in a bruising third quarter that finished with the Heat clinging to a 71-70 lead. Hoping to send the series back to Miami for Game 6, Butler tried to come to the rescue late in the fourth quarter, scoring 8 consecutive points, 2 free throws putting the Heat ahead 89-88 with just under 2 minutes remaining. But the Denver Nuggets would not be denied, as a Bruce Brown layup giving Denver a 90-89 lead would prove to be a game changer for the Bucks. That is it for today's Sports Roundup. Thank you for watching. I'm Carlos Reyes.
Thanks, Carlos, and that's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Ganjin World, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.